artiste on the set, Miss Christina Major. I'm so excited, girl, to have you.
Thank you. I'm so pleasured.
Your artwork is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Phenomenal. Tell me a little story how you got started to be in this fabulous artist.
Well, I was raised on an airplane, and
Good story already.
I've traveled around the world. I've been to the Louvre and different beautiful museums across Europe, and my father was a painter, and I was immersed in art since the beginning.
And it was just, it bit you. You're thinking, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Your form of artist fabulousness is different. It's canvas with oil paints, but it tells a story. It comes out. It's something like I've never seen before. Tell me how that you developed that form.
So before I knew I was going to go into painting specifically, I started with an associate's degree in graphic design, and graphic design is all about layers of information. And that's what first started how to incorporate both the story in a writing and an image itself. That was its birthplace.
Right, and I love that that's what you do. You marry those together.
Yes.
Because every story has a picture, an artiste, a painting, and so that is your true form,
Yes.
is to marry those together.
Yeah, that's my goal, is to find a cohesive relationship with the viewer and the image, to be able to participate with the canvas, to get more than just merely the image of the person, but to draw on the curiosity of figuring out what this texture is and realizing it's fragmented by words of text and strokes of paint and color.
Right.
And that way you get the special surprise where you get to get more than you just perceive at first.
Right. And art is an investment.
Yes.
You know, an art piece can last a lifetime and be carried down generation to generation. And yours is something that is worthy of walking into a room and knowing that that painting is there. And it just tells a story of the whole entire house.
Yes, yes. It's often, what you'll find in some of these publications is where it's the focal point of the home. It was really important for me when I saw portraits as a young child that I was always curious, who is that person? What is it about? Who is it about? What is it from? And since my education and graduate in fine arts, I pursued my thesis in finding this merger between the story and what it meant, storytelling and portraiture through history, and it's all about the message. So now my work has evolved to really make the viewer be allowed to understand what's written. My earlier work, it was much more discreet. It was much more of a hidden information. You couldn't really decipher it.
Right.
But today, I'm exploring more ways to give that information to the viewer.
Christina has evolved. That's what I'm hearing. She is evolved.
Evolving.
Evolving.
Yes.
Yes, as she evolves.
Yes.
So you have been published. So tell me the stories. Have you been Architectural Digest
Yes.
and the Boca magazine,
Yes.
some local magazines. So Architectural Digest is huge.
Yes.
How were you featured in that?
Tony Ingrao and his partner, who's also a popular designer, had this beautiful home that they built in St. John, and they were featured in Architectural Digest, and they had acquired 5 of my artworks to be part of that location, and it was just beautiful feature where they got to show these gorgeous rooms overlooking the Caribbean and the little islands floating, and you just see my painting situated in their beautiful living spaces. And the other features, I've been also in a Harbor 60 restaurant in Toronto, Canada. They did some unique featuring of my work in that beautiful high-end restaurant there. And in the Boca, it's through my gallery, JF Galleries, my longest relationship.
Right.
And she's been involved in a lot of publications, works with a lot of designers, and she got into that Boca catalog as well from one of her designers that she works with.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and show some of your artwork and some of those publications that you're featured in.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. And now we're back with world-famed artist, Miss Christine Major. Darling, so a lot of your subject are movie stars, past, present, Michael Jackson, Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra, but you also do modern day people, live families,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about how you do the different subjects.
My early works were all about the people in my lives, my best friends, family, people I've encountered, and it evolved. The challenge with that was to obviously get the person, find the essence of their soul, people to relate to the images. But now I wanted to challenge my work a little further to now all the viewers know who these people are. And do they recognize them? And is their story relevant to me? Do I relate to them? And what I love most about my current work with classic vintage Hollywood is the glam and the elegance that it represents that is hard to find today. And
Great.
it's really great to be immersed in that pure beauty of that time and that era, whether it be male or female. And also music is a big inspiration with my work. So some of them you'll also find of artists that I've also done of Aretha Franklin, of George Michael, and I'll incorporate lyrics of songs that resonate with me that
Great.
that tell a really great story as well.
I love the restaurants that have books written on the ceilings.
Yeah.
And this is even better because it's a portrait that has words that explain the portrait or your interpretation of the portrait. And I haven't seen anything like that ever before. I'm sure
Yes.
it's out there, but I haven't seen it.
So my thesis work that I researched involved artists that involve writing in their work, and how is my work different from that, and how is my work relevant today in comparison. And Jenny Seville's an artist that's figurative, but she scratches into her work versus it being the stroke of the paint. You have other artists like Tracy Emin, who is a lot more of a contemporary artist with it not necessarily being a figurative work, but she'll put writing into her pieces as well. And then you have artists like Chuck Close, who is about fragmentation, and you approach his work and it breaks apart with all these beautiful components of pixelation with paint. And it coalesces as you step back into this beautiful image. So those were the big inspirations between my work from the past to today. And the way that it separated from that is, the writing itself becomes the strokes that become the image. So all of those need to be together in order for the image itself to exist.
I love it because you beat to your own drum. Like, it's just amazing. So and I would also say that your works of art seem very 3D.
Yes.
They seem like that pops out. Like, it's not, it just pops out. It's 3D.
Yeah,
right?
I'm happy you mentioned that. When you get to view it in person, you get to be surprised with the reflection of light. Right now, light is a big component with having shiny surfaces, with matte surfaces, with textured surfaces from the writing being stroked into the thickness of the paint, so you can see the embossing of it. You have the different lighting can transform how the color relates to the next color.
Right.
So it's really interesting when you break them apart and you see the color individually. You're like, oh, I didn't realize that was the color that you used. But once you put it next to another, the vibration that occurs creates a whole new color within itself.
And truly, the story is, you want something that will be the test of time.
Absolutely.
That people will, decades from now,
Archival.
centuries, exactly, archival. I just returned from Chicago and we did the architectural tour.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful how all the different buildings reflected something different.
Mm-hmm.
But they were works of art.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's same with you. Like,
Yes.
it's like you mentioned these other amazing artists.
Yes.
However, you are doing your own thing, but they were inspiration. They're doing things different, and it's just a marrying of what you want to do. It's a reflection of your artistic side, and you're growing and evolving. So,
Thank you.
What are the next steps for you?
So moving forward, my challenge is this relationship with these different colors, and finding ways to dive in deep. My early work, yes, it was about paint, but my color studies were not nearly as in-depth or challenging as it is today. Work with completely different palettes, which, involve like a lot of turquoise that I'm in love with, and using colors that you wouldn't necessarily imagine together with these magentas and turquoise create this beautiful purples. And that's where I really am diving in right now, is finding my master hues, which is the primary hue in the painting that's carried within every part of every color has a little piece of that color.
Right.
And it's this is the fun part for me. I really have a formula down that I find that is cohesive. I feel like it's more effective than ever before with these relationship with the writing, the stroke of paint, the image itself not being overpowered by the writing, or the image itself overpowering the writing itself too.
It's a good accompaniment.
Yes.
They complement each other.
Yes.
Well, we're so excited that you stopped by the set tonight. We know your name is going to be everywhere, darling. And we're so excited that you're right here tonight.
We're in
with
LA.
us on the set.
We're in a new gallery in LA called Artplex.
Right.
Really excited, right near Hollywood. And we're going to be in a show in New York this weekend coming up on the 22nd to the 25th. And, there's another show in Miami.
Great.
So
we're so excited.
I'm excited.
So excited. Well, thank you for stopping by tonight. So you're going to hear her name majorly, Christina Major. Just remember, she was right here on the Debra Kennedy Show. Mwah.
To view this entire episode or to view other past episodes, please visit our podcast site at DebraKennedyShow.com. You can view the complete episodes right on the website or subscribe to the show via iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Thanks for watching.
Do you ever feel like you cannot figure your life out? Things just don't go together like a puzzle. The pieces are all spread out. Well, I have a special guest tonight, Miss Zenica Chapman, that is a world-famous life coach, and she is going to tell us how to do it, how to get your life together. Hey, Zenica, welcome to the set.
Hi, Debra. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm more excited to have you here. So I love your story. You started out in PR and marketing, and you loved it, but you wanted to do more. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I started out PR. I thought I had what was my dream job, and it turned out it was not a dream job. That's a story for another day. But, anytime you have those things happen to you, and then right as I discovered that, I was in a life-changing car accident. And so you kind of have this sense where you're like, all right, I've got another crack at this. How do I want to use this time? And I really wanted to have a life that was truly fulfilling and do the things that I really wanted to do. And so I knew part of that journey was I had to start sharing my story. I've always been the girl that everybody would come to and say, hey, I got an idea. I got a thing. I'm not quite happy. Help me figure this out. And for a long time, I didn't know what to do with that. I thought, gosh, why don't I have a talent where I can sing or cook or dance or something fun? I'm a cheerleader, right?
Absolutely.
And then it wasn't until I actually discovered coaching on my own through an executive coach, and then I turned to life coaching, that it all came together. That's why I have this thing.
It went ding, ding, ding.
It sure did.
So I love it. So sometimes the accident really set you on a different life pace because you thought I have a second chance at life. I don't want to waste it. I want to do something that helps me and in turn helps others.
Absolutely.
A lot of women go through life-changing events. Whatever happens in their lives. Sometimes we just can't figure our lives out. Sometimes we go through a traumatic event. And sometimes, that can put women on the path to depression or negativity. So I think what you try to work with is positive vibes only.
Absolutely.
If you feel it, if you think it, then it's going to manifest and happen, right?
Absolutely. And we often think of, when it's time to get a life coach is only when those traumatic things happen to us, right? But most people don't think life is just happening. Right. You go through all different types of seasons in your life, and what may have served you in this previous season doesn't quite fit the woman that you're becoming. Right. And so how do we really start to disrupt these thoughts, these beliefs, these habits that you have so that you can really truly open up to who it is that you're becoming and start to live that life?
Right. Because I think a lot of times we go through decades of change.
Absolutely.
And there are times that, it happens, you cannot do nothing but change. But I think change is good. I think when you embrace it, because that last chapter I've lived. I don't want to go back to that last chapter. I want the next chapter. But I think a lot of women get caught and they live in their past, and they don't want to reinvent themselves. What would you tell them is a good way to reinvent yourself and start a new path, a new journey?
Yeah. Well, I think first we have to explore kind of why. Why is it that you keep going back to that past? And for a lot of us, it's really just fear. We don't like to admit it. We don't like to say I'm afraid, but I'm afraid that maybe the success that I had in this previous season I won't have. Maybe I really am not as good and I can't take this skill set into this new season. So what is it that really is going on for you? And maybe it's a different kind of fear for everybody, but really start to ask yourself, why am I feeling this way that I'm feeling, right? What is it that I'm believing, that I'm thinking, that's kind of keeping me in this feeling of being stuck? And then once you've done that, now you can start to peel back the layers to that onion and say, okay, is it because I think that thing is impossible? What if it was possible? Right? So it's just kind of switching a lot of the questions that we tell ourselves, because we're kind of negatively wired anyway. So we often think it's just not going to work out. So one of the main questions that I'll ask my clients is, but what if it does?
Plan for it. I think a lot of women and men have imposter syndrome. Like great things happen to them, but they feel they're not worthy of those great things, or they're not good enough. And a lot of times it goes back to their childhood, or it goes back to a relationship that was bad, or a friendship that was bad. A lot of things can, mentally mess up men and women. So I know so many people deal with that imposter syndrome. And so what you're saying is, don't think those negative thoughts. Think the possible, not the impossible.
That's right.
The possible of what can be. You only get one life.
That's right.
Believe it, perceive it. It's going to happen,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, and I know
Amen,
sometimes,
sister.
That be positive is a lot for people.
Right.
I think if you've been somebody that's been telling yourself, I'm just an unattractive woman. Nobody wants to love me. It's really hard to go to.
It is.
I'm gorgeous. Everybody loves me. I have all this stuff. That can be really hard.
Right.
But what I often will tell people is I like to have my clients create what I call a brag book. And that is everything. Every compliment that somebody has given you. Actually, like I had a bunch of people compliment me the other day on this pink blazer. So I wore it again.
Yay!
Right?
So
every compliment that somebody gives you, just say thank you. Just sit in it and say thank you.
Enjoy the
moment. So when that thought comes up and you want to say, well, this old dress, or this thing, this, thank you.
Own it. Thank you. Feel it.
Every compliment you get at work, when that manager or those coworkers tell you, you're really good at creating a schedule for all of us to follow, put it in your brag book so that when you get those moments where you're feeling like, I don't have a right to be here, I don't deserve to be here, which is what the imposter syndrome tells us, you have a whole slew of evidence, concrete evidence that you're not kind of trying to mimic in your head, but this is concrete evidence that supports why you're in this place that you're in right now.
Right. I love it. So a lot of times, women that maybe don't perceive themselves as beautiful or attractive, it's their personality. I think looks is it's perceived as, a first glance, someone's beautiful or cute or pretty. But some of the most beautiful people are the people that are the most different, and their confidence and their outgoing personality makes them absolutely beautiful. But it's hard to convince people of that. You have to believe in yourself for great things happen. But like you said, having a brag book that shows them, how amazing other people think they are, then that helps.
Yeah.
Now, who needs a life coach? I know everyone, but who would need that in your world of, okay, these people desperately need life coaches? Is it people that are changing, people that just need coaching, or people that just are at their wits' end and just think, I can't do this anymore?
Yeah.
All of the above.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I'm going to say everybody needs a life coach, but I think there are life coaches for different things in different seasons of your life. So I will say, if you find yourself needing somebody to really help you get an outside perspective of what's happening in your life, that would be a great opportunity for you to work with a coach. Anyone who feels like, gosh, I just feel stuck. I'm not really sure what's next. I'm not happy. I'm not quite sad, but something's not sitting well. That would be a great person for a coach. Someone who's in a major transition, coaching would be a great thing for you as well. So there are lots of opportunities to work with a coach. And I just say, kind of think about what's the big question that you're trying to answer in your life, and what's the best coach to help you do that.
So, and that's what a coach does. A life coach is like a football coach.
Absolutely.
You coach that person along the way to achieve their goals, to achieve their dreams, or maybe just to get over that hump. They feel like they can't.
Absolutely. I always describe it just that way when people ask me, well, what is a life coach? I say, you know, we all watch sports. The coach does not get in the game with you, right? The coach is on the sidelines. They're watching what's happening. They're looking at you. They're looking at the opposition. And they're going to tell you what you're doing really, really well. They're also going to hold that mirror to say, here's what you can do to get the edge and ultimately win the game.
Right. So, and that's so important because sometimes you just need someone to believe in you or someone to give you some different ideas.
Absolutely.
Or someone to have you make a brag book and you know how amazing you are and how much you've accomplished, so you believe in yourself.
Absolutely. A coach just gives you that incredible outside perspective. Because most of us walk around and we're in our heads all the time, right? And it's always either the best of times or the worst of times. And so a coach can really help you get perspective on where you are right now, and they're going to hold you. That's the one thing that I tell people about coaching.
Make you accountable.
Don't get a coach unless you are really, really ready to know what your life is going to be like when you hit that goal, because that's the main job of the coach, is to make sure you hit the goals.
Absolutely. So for our takeaway for our guests out there, tell us 3 things that each person out there can do to find out their dreams, to reach their goals, to help them navigate this thing called life.
Yeah, so I like to kind of put it in, I call it my 3D guide to personal or professional growth. So the first thing you want to do is you want to think about what needs to be disrupted in my life right now. Don't get afraid of disruption. I know that word can be a little harsh, but sometimes that's what we need. We need to figure out what it is that's functioning so normally for us that it doesn't quite sit well anymore. And we need to stop that normal thinking, that normal habit, that normal attitude, belief system that you have every day. So what is it that needs to be disrupted in my life right now? And then, what do I really want? Discovery. What do I really want? What feels good? What is my spirit telling me that it needs right now? And go on that journey of discovering what is I really want in this particular season, and then design. Get you a plan. Once you've got that thing that you really want, now we can start to design a plan around it so that you can go after it and attack it.
Girl, you're inspiring. I'm like sitting here taking mental notes thinking, yes, I'm going to follow that. You were amazing. I hope you'll come back on the set.
Anytime.
You were amazing. Your energy is great. I feel like that. I just feel like I have this crystal in my hand and you're radiating. So I so appreciate you. I know you are going to be a hit of our viewers out there, and we're going to have you back. And thank you for the journey that you're helping all your clients reach and us on the show. And thank you for stopping by the set to share your knowledge and your life coaching.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Oh, thanks. So, Zenica has inspired me to be a better person, and I hope she has inspired you. Let's get our life together with your favorite life coach.
If you are in the fashion, art, or entertainment industry and would like to be a guest on the Debra Kennedy Show, just go to DebraKennedyShow.com and you could be a guest just like me.
Hi, I'm Valerie from Be Faith Yoga, and today I'm going to show you how to twist it out with 3 twisting poses. So twisting poses are really good to exercise your spine and to twist out those organs and massage your organs. So it's good for your digestive system, and it's also good to stretch out those muscles in your upper and your lower spine. So the first twist that we're going to do, we're just going to inhale through our nose and lengthen our spine. On the exhale, just twist your body to the right. This is called easy twist. Send your gaze out over your right shoulder. So just feel that nice, gentle twist in your left side body. Good. Coming back to center. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Let's do the other side. Exhale, twist to your right, sending your gaze over your right shoulder. Good. Coming back to center. So this is one twist that you can do. You can hold here for a few breaths, or you can do that several times on each side. Another twist that you can do is you can turn yourself around on the mat. Put your legs straight out in front of you. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Take your right sole of your foot and put it on the outside of your left thigh. So you have this nice long spine here, and take your left elbow and put it on the outside of your right knee. You want your hand nice and straight, fingertips pointed up toward the sky, and then just use the pressure from your elbow into your knee to twist your body around, sending your gaze over your right shoulder. So just twisting here. You can use your breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Good. Coming back into center here, we're going to do the other side. So we'll take our left foot on the outside of our right thigh and take our right elbow on the outside of our left knee. Again, you have this nice straight fingertips here. Your left hand is behind you. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, use your breath to twist your body, sending your gaze over your left shoulder. Good, just twist it out. Again, you can stay here for a few breaths if you'd like. And then coming back to center, we're going to bring our feet back in front of us, coming into this nice staff pose. Now the last one that I'm going to show you is we're going to work our way onto our hands and knees. So on our hands and knees here, your hands are shoulder distance apart, your knees are hip distance apart. And from here, you're just going to rise that right hand up toward the sky, open your chest, feeling this twist and this opening of your chest here. On the exhale, you're going to come back down. Inhale your left hand up toward the sky. Twist your body. Really open your chest here. And exhale, come back down. Again, you can do that a few times, or you can hold each side for several breaths. So I hope this helps you twist it out. And thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.
When you look around, see the tears falling down. In a world so cold, where there seems to be no hope. So just look inside. There's an